Sunshine! Hi, my name is Kwami.
My name is Mwende.
And we are talking about
relationships. First thing would be, which relationships are you talking about?
I think romantic relationships.
We're keeping it juicy, but we're keeping it PG.
Yes.
Right?
Certainly PG. So? Definitely. We want the young girls to watch this and benefit.
Yes, we're doing this for our younger selves. So the first question would be, in a relationship, what are the green flags?
The green flags? Mm-hmm. Okay, so certainly for me, I like to observe, first of all. Mm-hmm. So a green flag for me would be an attentive person, attentive man. Mm-hmm. And then for me, it will also be a person with a quiet and a gentle spirit. So that goes with attentive in the sense that he's interested. Mm-hmm. He doesn't want to appear interesting. He's interested in what you're saying.
Please, repeat. I'm like, repeat it for those of us who are like, what? Uh-huh.
So a man who's interested, he's not focused on appearing interesting, he is interested, so he's attentive, and then he has a quiet and a gentle spirit, at least for me. So some people would prefer a person who's more charismatic, who's more animated, and there's no problem with that, but I think the most important thing is that he's attentive and he pays attention. In short, I like to call them the what can I do for you today type of boyfriends. Oh my God. Yes.
What can I do for you type of boyfriend?
Yes, what can I do for you today type of boyfriends. So attentive, a quiet and a gentle spirit, and then a person who really taps into your vision. So you can't go into a relationship not knowing what you want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Very true.
It won't work. It won't work.
Not work out.
You have to be very clear about yourself and your vision and your purpose, so that when you get a partner, he can tap into it. Because again, the only reason you're with someone one day is they will help you. A person will help you arrive at your destiny. Yes. That is the only reason you're with a person, so that you can both help each other arrive at your destinations and achieve what you were put in this world to do. So he is attentive, a gentle and a quiet spirit, and can tap into my vision. That's a green flag.
I am like, oh, that's a green, nice green one. And then maybe like, you can add in kind.
Yes.
Not necessarily when it comes to kindness towards you and towards other people. So you can tell how a person is interacting with other people. More or less that interaction will be the same for you eventually once the butterflies, when you fall in love with someone, it's like you get blinded by love and everything. Once all that wears off, if the person is not kind, it's going to be messed up.
Yes. And you mentioned something about butterflies and everything. I think now that I'm older, initially, oh my God, I used to run on those butterflies and I used to live off of those butterflies, and that feeling of, oh my God, this certainly is the guy off of that. But now I'm older, now I need answers. Now I want to know what you're all about. Now I ask all those hard questions. What's your vision? What do you want to do with yourself? And I need to get this out of the way very clearly so I can see if this is a person I can create a future with. So I'm all about the serious questions, I think, and that's the benefit of growing older. We are so afraid of, oh my God, I'm going to turn 30 soon.
And I'll be alone.
No, but with age, honestly, it's cliche, but comes that wisdom. So now I'm not on a first date, I'm not all over there, blushing and smiling. No, I'm looking you straight in the eye, and I want to know who are you. I want to figure that out very quickly. So we get that out of the way and see if there's something. Yeah.
So we've gone to the green flags. Then red flags, but you had mentioned something before. I told her we'll go to red flags. And she said something and I was like, wait, what?
Yes, so here it is. So we're always looking for red flags, but before red flags, there are things called orange flags.
Okay, tell us, the general population. What are orange flags?
So when there's a way that God works, first of all, he'll whisper. It's a whisper. And he tells you something and you'll notice something is off. And you'll be like, well, that's interesting, that's a bit interesting. And then you don't listen to that whisper, and so now that's what we call an orange flag. It's not quite red, but it's orange. And then the next thing, God will come knocking a little bit adamantly. And then that's when you're like, should I open that door? Should I not? Because you can hear someone is knocking frantically, but you don't hear. And then how it ends is a train wreck. When you don't listen to the whisper and to the knocks, it ends up with a train wreck. Yes. So there are orange flags before you get to the red flags. So it's just those little things that sometimes you don't sit right with your spirit and you're like, but then you don't listen to them, and then now we get to the red flags. So orange flags are little things like, for example, and a person who doesn't honor your time.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
A person who doesn't honor your time.
Yes.
Number 2 could be you even just look at how what the vision that he has for himself, and some things as basic as his financial principles. Time. And then number 2 is money, because that's very important.
Yes, it
is. The respect he has for his money and the respect that he has for your money. And then the third thing that will be a red flag are you have to really observe a person and how they've been raised, and therefore the cultural the implications of how he's been raised and how he manifests his growing up. So you could find a person who grew up in a very patriarchal setting. He saw his mother toiling and laboring at home and tending to every need and doing a lot of reproductive work at her own detriment.
Yes.
So if he expects you to also be a house help as well, you have to be very careful, because there are many men out here who are not necessarily looking for a partner, but a house help or a slave.
Actually, so you see, she didn't even say housewife, it's house help.
Yeah.
Because that's what they've been brought up to expect from another partner.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. And just a word to the gentleman, you're never with someone because she can cook and clean. To be honest, anyone can do that.
Anyone.
When you're looking for a partner, you're looking at her character. You're looking at her ability to be with you in the long haul.
Yes.
And that, again, she can tap into your vision and you can tap into hers, so that you both achieve your purpose in life. Yeah. So anyone can cook and clean. And if your girlfriend can cook and clean, it can always be outsourced.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think at this point in time, we've come to realize that. But there's something you've said. If you're brought up in that setting, that is the only way you identify love, it's going to be a challenge.
Yes.
Yes. And I think another orange flag is someone who keeps pushing your boundaries. Because you see, when you enter a relationship, you already have boundaries. This is what I'm willing to do. This is what I'm not willing to do.
Yeah.
So it will be small things. So let's give an example of how you dress. For example, maybe you're not comfortable showcasing some parts of your body, but the person will push you so slowly, like within a span of 1 year. If you look at what you're wearing, this is not something you'd have worn out of your own initiative. It's just, they buy you, if you, let's say you don't like your legs, the dresses become shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. So it's someone pushing your boundaries. I think that's an orange flag to me.
Yeah, I agree. What one day you're saying and how I'm understanding what you're saying is compromise of your ideals. Now, you see, you have to be true to yourself.
Yes.
You don't necessarily have to be glued to yourself.
Exactly.
But you have to be true to yourself.
Yes.
And aside from even just dressing, it's, for example, if you were very whole and solid and independent person before you entered into a relationship, and then you find yourself slowly losing yourself, so you don't have any downtime for yourself. You're either at his place over the weekends, and then you find that you're growing away from your friends, so you don't have friends outside of him.
Oh my God. Hey, speak. You're like speaking. I'm like, speak. Oh my God.
No, it's just those little things.
Yes.
You know, before you were in a relationship with him, you had a sense of self.
Yes.
And now you in that relationship, you find that you actually can't, you don't know where he starts and where he ends and where you start.
You don't even know who you are.
You don't know who you are, because now your identity has been deeply entrenched in him.
Yes.
So you don't know your identity outside of him.
Yes.
And that's because you started compromising on very, very small things. So you can compromise, so you can be true to yourself, like be true to yourself. Sometimes you can step out of your comfort zone for the purpose of a relationship, if it's going to make both of you better. But when you're losing yourself,
there's a challenge.
Yeah, you need to check into that.
In the comfort zone or issue of being true to thyself, if I am changing because I want to change, it's different from if the person has been pestering me to change to suit his new ideal. I think that is what is going to mess you up. So I think that's an orange. Now let's go to red flags.
Yeah, so
you don't even have fireworks. Boom, boom, boom.
Red flags. So I think it's so interesting sometimes when you're older. Again, I'll talk about being older, but it's not like I'm not here, I'm 50 or anything.
Yeah, just wiser.
Well, but just wiser. But what I'll say is, in my early 20s, there's a lot of tolerance for so much, because one day you have to understand, from when I was like 5 or 6 years old, I knew certainly I wanted to have a family, I wanted to have a partner, I wanted to live. Family life was so important for me, and it was very evident for me from such a young age. So I just wanted to get into a relationship, and there's so many things that I overlooked in my past relationships, because I knew at the end what I want is a relationship. What he's like is neither here nor there. I wanted to be in a relationship. So red flags. Again, how much attention he pays to you. So does he talk about himself incessantly? And
oh my God, like I've seen that in a movie, like you even sleep and you wake up and he's still talking about himself.
himself.
And then you're like, You're like, I'm fine. He's
You
like,
know.
oh yeah, that's good. But then you remember that you're like,
Exactly. So when they're like you say, and one teller is when you walk out of every conversation with him drained. Your energy is lower.
yes. Oh my, you're just like,
And then when the person calls again, you're like, oh my god, not like this is another 1 hour.
There's a show I watch. It's called The Real. The lady was saying this. She has one of the hosts was saying she has a friend. Like they talk so much. Like she'll put the phone on mute, go shower, go to the loo, do everything, come back after meet and say, and then the person like, let me tell you. So you say that, I'm like, I know. Yeah.
No, there's no problem with being with a chatty person, but you can always tell the difference with a person who's just very self-absorbed.
Very.
Yes, and it's really all about them. To put it in a simple way, it's a person who thoroughly enjoys the sound of their own voice.
Yes. They enjoy themselves more than...
They just enjoy themselves more than you. So clearly this will spill over into other aspects of your relationships. Now with such a person, you know your needs will be secondary.
Wouldn't even be secondary, would be non-existent.
Will be non-existent because it's really all about them. And then
Mm.
another thing is they won't pay attention to you. So you could be falling sick, your mental health could be deteriorating, you could be struggling, but because of how this person can't see beyond themselves, then they can't notice the important things that are happening to you. Yes. So another red flag. How many have I mentioned?
You've mentioned 2.
I've mentioned 2.
Yes.
So I think another red flag for me is agency. I think it's still important to never lose yourselves. As girls and as women, even in marriages and with children, we are allowed to be ambitious. We are allowed to have careers outside of the house. We are allowed to be independent of our children. Our children shouldn't define us.
Our children should not be. See, the people say I live for my children.
You can't live for your children.
I feel sad for that because there's so much more.
There's so much more, and at the end of the day, you can only teach them, but it's up to them to decide what they want to be.
Exactly.
So have you ever seen very whole parents with very interesting children? And you can tell these parents really tried.
Yes.
So you see now if you really raise the children well and your identity is basically them and they don't turn out the way you want it to be, you will end up feeling like a failure. But at the end of the day, God gives us freedom. God gives us freedom to decide who we are going to be
and who we want to be.
So it can't be about your children, and we're allowed to have our own identities. So when you are in a relationship and you don't have agency, and what I mean by agency is the ability to choose what's good for you. So all your time is spent with him. Every decision you have to run by him.
Like you need approval.
You need approval, you understand. So consultation is amazing in a relationship. It's essential. But when you can't make a decision if it's not his decision, or rather, the decisions you're making have to be his decisions.
I know. Like your friends are like, can we go? For the weekend, can we go to Coast for girls' night? You're like, I need to ask him. You see, and he says, stay put. It's like, you guys, I can't come because he said. because he can't. But it's different form. I can't come because we had planned to do something on that weekend with him.
Exactly.
Let me see if we can, next weekend, or can we postpone? You see, there's a difference.
Yes, there's certainly a difference between that. So where you don't have agency over yourself, that's another red flag. And then again, I'll say how people spend their time and how they spend their money will clearly tell you what's essential to them.
I think also another red flag would be comparison. So this person keeps comparing you to either his exes or his new crushes or people he knows. Do not, you can tell, I don't interact well with this person. So you keep comparing me to that person. And I'm always the one at the loss. If you only dressed like Nani's wife, we wouldn't be here. If you were more ambitious like Nani's wife, we would. Oh my God! Let me tell you, this street, you hear things and you're like, my goodness. So I think another red flag is the person is always comparing you, even to his mother.
Yes.
My mother used to wake me up.
He can go marry. If that's the case, go marry your mother.
I'm like,
leave me alone.
There's that one. And then another red flag I have is, have you noticed how, even us as humans and women, we have types.
Yes.
There's a type you're attracted to.
Yes.
But why do men follow someone who's not in that type? Like, for example, if I'm a guy and I like women who are light skin, and girls who are thin or thick. So I go for a dark-skinned lady who's thin, and I like thick women. Then I try fatten her to become the thick woman I want. I push her to now bleach her skin to fit into the particular person I am attracted to. Why do they do that? That's changing. It's a red flag.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, as women, usually we are very satiated. As long as, and I've realized this in marriages, you have a husband who's providing a roof over the head and everything, right? As women, we don't require a lot from men.
Can you say our standards are very low?
Our standards are very low. Because culturally, we have been raised to not question, to not require much, to be satisfied with whatever is offered. And now men have been trained to demand more and to be entitled, you know, to women and to their time and to how we look,
their body,
and to have
everything.
Exactly. So the thing is, and I'm sure so many girls can relate. Why can't you be like so and so's girlfriend? You know, she goes to work, then she comes back, she makes a mean cheesecake. You know,
she looks amazing. She looks amazing.
She's had children. On top of, you know, working a full-time job, you know, she also keeps the home very well. The home is always perfect. Why can't you keep up with all of that? So I mean, guys, comparison it kills. It really kills a woman's esteem. And let me tell you, comparison it reaches the soul. You know that those attacks that reach here,
they just stop here.
But comparison really goes inside. So comparison is a huge thing. I agree.
That's another red flag. Then of course the physical, mental, emotional, psychological, there's another one.
Physical,
mental, emotional, psychological abuse. Yes, that's a very red flag. And I remember someone was telling me, someone actually asked me what would happen if you're having a conversation with someone, like your significant other, and they hit you, and they have never hit you before. What would you do?
I'd be really shocked. I'd honestly be really, I think, you know, when a person hits you, and the last time you were hit was maybe when you were 10 years old, there's something that does to you. I think it's shocking. I don't think you even have the strength to like strike back.
You're like,
you know, and let me tell you what happens in that moment when you've been beaten, when someone has hit you. In that exact moment, they not only hit your face or whatever part of the body they hit your heart. Let me tell you something, when there domestic violence, it changes the essence of a person
completely.
And let me tell you, I know women who've been, you know, they've been subjected to it properly. And I mean, aunties, I mean, cousins, like
everyone knows someone personally who has been subjected
to it. Domestic violence really changes women. So you have many women walking around just shells. You can tell that there's a body, but there's no one in there.
It's like they died a long time ago.
Like they died a long time ago. So I think when a person has beaten you, like when they hit you the first time, it's enough.
It's enough. Imagine I support you, and there's this mentality people have with the first question most people will ask you, what did you do? Like,
there's nothing that you can do.
Nothing that warrants someone
that warrants you to hit
physically, emotionally
hit you.
And there's even another on financial abuse. I mentioned it in another video.
I think we'll need like a whole
topic for
financial abuse. So what I'd like to say is, culturally, when the men don't respect women's money. Because we actually go to work and we work very, very hard. But I think some men have been raised to understand that women can't save, women can't invest.
Yes.
So then they understand that their wife's salary or their girlfriend's salary is available for them to use miscellaneously all they want to. So you have a man who's saving, he's investing his own money, and then now for his recurrent expenditure and for his fun, he uses your money. And you're required to make it available to him. No questions asked.
If you don't, you're selfish.
That's financial abuse.
Financial abuse. Even someone who comes, they find you again. I go back to, they find you as a working woman, they're like, no, babe, it's fine, I'll take care of us.
Yes.
They
oh my God, that's a red flag. When you're required to stop working,
run!
You know, that's a
everything you have,
that's a huge red flag. And you know, I'm not one to tell people how to manage their finances, but usually when you're meant to, perhaps you have a joint account and then you're meant to account to him every single coin that you spend, that's a red flag.
I also think it's a red flag.
Yeah, you've earned your money. You're allowed to buy yourself a pair of shoes without asking someone.
And something I'd like people to remember, even if you're earning 5,000 shillings, that money is your money that you have earned. That 5,000 is better than nothing.
Yes.
And someone can be able to control you with finances. Money is power. So nothing for stay at home, you take care of the children. No. Unless you have, there are people who genuinely say, I want to do that.
Yes.
It
has
different.
to come from you.
Exactly.
Yeah, but when you're being told in order to do it, that's a problem.
So that's another red flag.
Yeah. I think, and sometimes there's nothing wrong with helping out in a relationship, being on the same financial page. There's no problem with that. But I think sometimes, when you're being taken advantage of, there's just that feeling in your heart and in your soul and in your mind, over here and over here, that tells you something is not right. Follow that instinct.
Follow it. Yes. So we've gone through all the flags.
Yes.
Then now the next question I had, has your weight ever influenced your relationships?
Oh yeah, certainly, without a doubt. I've been in relationships where I've been told you're fat and it's affecting this relationship and you need to shape up. I've always been heavy set. I can't remember a time in my life when I was very slim and I had a flat tummy. And anyone who's gone to school with me knows, I think my weight has always been up and down, up and down. There's a time I lost like 40 kgs and then I gained it all back. And then last year I was really working out. I took a break from that for a bit. So my relationship, my relationship with my weight and my body and it's always been something in my relationships. But then that's on me because I chose to tolerate such men. Yes. Who basically had a problem with how I look. Now, I must say that being interested in my health, there's no problem with that. Like, hey, if constantly I'm complaining about being fatigued, or I'm having heart palpitations,
shortness of breath, like I am complaining and voicing that to you.
Or if he can see it, there's no problem with my partner telling me, hey, perhaps you can consider being a little bit healthy, because we have to be honest with each other. If my boyfriend or my husband was gaining weight exponentially, I'd actually just want to sit down with him and tell him, hey.
That's a question someone asked me.
We should be able to have that conversation and it should come. I don't think it's what you're saying, it's how you say it.
Yes.
So when I was younger, certainly my weight was always a huge issue, and I think there was a point I was even told to shape up or shape out.
Oh my god. So can be cruel.
Going to the gym was a requirement.
Oh my god, for real?
Again. It was being monitored, and if I missed a day, I had to explain for it. Oh
my god. And remember I asked you, again, I just give an example here. You find me like this. If you do not like me like this, please go look for the one that you want, who fits a particular mold. But if you find me in my fitness journey, support me, join me, motivate me, but don't be the one to push me because it does not fit your mold.
Yes.
The way you mentioned, if it's coming from a point of genuine concern that I have been raising over and over again, or you have noticed, and we have a conversation, it's different.
As
opposed to, I like my girls, XYZ.
What I'm hearing from Wende and how I'd personally say it is, you can't make someone work out.
Yes.
You can't make someone.
You cannot.
You can't make someone healthy. It has to come.
Cannot.
And I have to. I can talk about it as a plus size person, as a heavy set person. I've had family members really concerned for me and really wanting me to get healthy and pushing me and telling me you have to work out, and even in relationships with well-meaning partners who really wanted me to lose weight, but I really couldn't hear it, because coming from another person, I process it as an attack, because being heavy it's something you can't hide. You carry it around, and it's a very evident.
It's the first thing someone will see.
It's the first thing someone will see. You can't hide it. So I realized the more they pushed me, the more resistant I became to it. But when I actually now started taking care of myself and working out, because I wanted to do it, because it made me feel good, because it made me confident. You can't force someone to work out. You can't force someone to be healthy either. You just can't. It has to come from them. And I'm sorry, guys, perhaps in a relationship or in a family where someone is not taking care of themselves, please give them the space and the time to realize it.
Yes. The more you push it, the more it becomes negative, the more they will run away from it, the more they will resist, and the harder and longer it will take them to start if they were to start. What I can say is, Mwende, I don't even ever realized this, but being overweight for women especially is a very effective way, like being heavy like this sometimes a very effective way of telling people, leave me alone, without saying a word. Without saying a word. And I'm like,
you understand? So when I'm feeling down, because I have my moments,
yes, we do.
And sometimes they last long, and I find solace in food. It is what it is. I like eating. It's just what it is. You understand? And sometimes I just want people people to leave me alone. I think being a child and being heavy and it being pointed out by friends, by cousins, by family, by whatever, you know what I mean? I've always had to protect myself. So the heavier I got, I found people would be less bothered with me.
For real?
Yes. So it's, and when I don't want anyone to bother me, I retreat into myself and let me tell you, I think you need to really think about it. It's one of those statements I had from someone that had to think about it. But one thing I know, wait is an effective way of telling people back up. Like,
I know it's an effective way of pushing people away.
It's exactly exactly.
Like when it comes to relationships, like I've not had someone tell me to lose weight to my face, but I feel like I chickened out of potential relationships because I thought of how I looked. Yes. And I didn't feel like, confident enough to be with this person or strong enough to be thrust in the limelight with this other person. Yeah. So yes, weight has affected in that kind of way. Yeah. And like I was telling you, relationships to me right now are not important.
They're not a priority.
I was telling her rich auntie vibes. Like me, I'm in the category for rich auntie vibes. And there's something she told me and I was like, that's a good. Just please tell us. We need to think. No one thinks about it like that.
Yeah, so there's this whole phenomenon on social media, especially Instagram, about rich auntie vibes. I'm going to be the rich auntie, no relationship, no kids. I'm showing up at family events.
With my son and my iPhone.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But have you ever thought of it this way? You see, when you were in relationships and you were disappointed, and you gave up on them, right? And then now you still have that desire to have a family, to have a good partner, but because of how disappointed you are, you hide behind, it doesn't matter. It no longer matters to me anymore. I'm gonna be the rich auntie.
If there was a bell, you hit it on the head, like
exactly.
Bam.
We hide behind that rich auntie vibes. Underneath, we actually have a desire to be loved, a desire to have a community that's a family. You understand? But we hide it. But because of disappointment from so many relationships, I find especially black women, because I don't hear white women talking about
being the rich aunties. Don't know that. No, but there's something you said, and I was like, imagine the more you spoke them, like, stop shouting. Maybe that's the reason. But there are some who genuinely don't. There are people who've never had that affinity to have a family. Maybe from past experiences, seeing how families have been messed up and what. Yeah. But what you're saying is true. Now it's become a trend. So we even have those bitter people who join the bandwagon.
Yeah,
those who are hard to join the bandwagon.
Exactly. Like I was telling Mwende, you can be a rich auntie, but a very bitter.
Yes, rich bitter auntie. But then you can tell those ones are like, you're changing on me. They even talk. That's the way they talk.
The bitterness is so palpable. I mean, even if they try to hide it, they can't. So if your aspiration is to be a rich auntie, be a whole rich auntie for the right reasons. Yeah.
Also, that's a rich auntie. Then the next question I had is there a difference between you right now and your 25-year-old self in a relationship?
Yes.
So what's the difference?
When I was 25, I was desperately in love. Desperately in love. But I wasn't taking care of myself mentally, and I didn't know myself. I didn't know. I had no ambition. I had no purpose. My purpose in life was him. And I wasn't taking care of myself mentally as well. I wasn't self-aware. So that relationship eventually took a toll because of how I wasn't taking care of myself. So what's the question? How?
Between yourself now and how you were when you were 25, do you approach relationships differently?
Yes, I certainly do. So at 25, I was all out to please. I didn't have a sense of identity. The partner I had, or the partner I was seeking at 25, had to be my everything. Right now, I realize a good girlfriend, a good wife is someone who takes care of themselves.
Very true.
Someone who knows themselves.
Very true.
So right now, I'm very heavy on what's my purpose. I'm very heavy on my dreams. I'm very heavy on taking care of myself mentally. I monitor myself. If I feel any dips in my mental health, I take care of that very quickly. I take care of that very quickly. So now, hopefully, in the next relationships I'll show up as a whole person. Yeah.
I think younger me, in relationships, I used to think it was even a privilege that I was in a relationship.
Oh, yes.
You know that feeling?
Oh, yes.
Oh, thank God someone chose me.
I'm flattered. You chose me. I don't have a flat tummy. You still chose me.
See, that was it. You choose me. So I have to do everything in my power to make sure that you do not choose the next person.
Oh my God, Wanda, that is so true.
Oh my God.
It was such a privilege to be in a relationship.
Like, oh my
At some
God.
point for me, it was like, mistreat me all you want. You still chose me, and that's okay.
Like, I am chosen.
I am chosen.
Don't care. Everything that's happening is, oh my God. Like, when you have this conversation, when you realize you were not alone.
Let me just say it like this. Relationships in my early 20s were the ghetto. That's not my ghetto anymore. They were the ghetto. And I think plus size girls have that.
Yes.
Can I just say, for example,
Please.
if I was going to party, and of course I was the heaviest of all my girlfriends, you understand? So first of all, I was always the last pick. Sometimes, yeah, because your girls, they're young, they're sprightly, they're slim, and they go out really quickly. Like, so designated pass watcher.
Yes. Oh my, I wanted to say that. Oh my God, pass watcher, drink watcher, designated driver, designated person to. You see, like when someone is hitting on you and you don't like them,
yes,
they'd wink at you to come
and
save
them.
Designated rescuer.
Designated rescuer. Oh, I used to rescue. Oh my God, I was the designated rescuer.
Yes.
So I was the designated pass watcher and rescuer. That one I know for sure.
Designated photographer. Oh my God, please take a picture of us. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Let me tell you, and also in campus I was not preparing people for dates. Yeah, like, let's do your hair.
There's a video I did. 5 things plus size women stop. I mean, 5 things plus size women need to stop doing. Number one, being people's mothers. That is someone's mother.
Oh my God. I fit into that role perfectly. Perfectly. I mean, I'm available to mother at any time.
Oh
that's
my God, trauma.
Yeah.
Imagine, I sat down in the results, I was like, imagine, enough is enough.
Yeah.
Even I have a right to feel hot.
Yeah.
I have a right to be the first one to be chosen.
I'm more than just your emotional support.
Exactly. I have a right to be that self. Even when
Wait, I've got it going on as well. I'm packing flavor. Like, can't you see? Like, I'm also packing flavor. I have as much of a right as you do to have fun. Like you're saying, right?
You just look back and you're like, hey, we have come from far.
Yeah.
So like you're saying right now, in the next relationship, I don't know when it will be, I'm not entering as someone is doing me a favor. No,
certainly not.
We're all here, and I'm like, okay, like there's something she keeps mentioning and I really like. You ask the tough questions at the beginning, we get it out of the way, and then now we can move to other things.
Yes.
So I'm entering it as a whole person. A person who's like, no, this is not working for me. It's been real. Bye. Oh my God, see you. Like, it's been real. Yes. So there's that one. And then the last thing, are there some misconceptions that you've heard about relationships?
Yes.
You have one.
Yes. So I think, like I said, from a very young age, I was very clear. I wanted to be in a relationship. And so I think one misconception was that immediately I entered into a relationship, I'd feel better, I'd feel whole, my self-esteem would improve, because then I'd be with a person who then validates my existence by the fact that he's chosen me.
I'm like, yes,
like a revival is happening.
Oh, yes.
Yes, Monday. So I think that was one misconception that I had, that all my issues would
miraculously disappear.
Yeah, I realize we're all recovering from our childhoods, first of all.
Yes.
And I think everyone is walking around with a hole in their heart.
Yes.
And the sad part is, and I think the sad part and the happiest part is, no one can feel that gap.
No one.
And that hole in your heart.
Yes.
And no food can feel that.
No food, no person.
No material thing.
Nothing.
I mean, for a short while, it may sort of, have a band-aid effect.
Yeah, it just hides from... It hides the real issue.
Yeah.
But then, like you said, it's for a very short time.
It's a very short time. So even when I entered relationships and it was good, even when the relationship was still going good, I still felt there was something. And it's because I hadn't faced myself enough to find out, do I like myself? Do I like what I'm studying? Do I like the job that I have?
Yes.
True. Am I enjoying my family life? Do I like my family? Are there any things about my family or how I show up as a person that I need to change? So that was one misconception that I had about relationships. And also I think the automatic assumption that young girls have, that you'll enter into a relationship and he'll love you and he'll be your anchor, he'll be your strength.
You're Superman.
You're Superman.
Save you from everything.
Oh my God. Yes, it's too much of a responsibility to put on someone.
That should be on yourself.
That should be on yourself.
You can change your life. You can transform yourself.
You can only, there's no man that will transform you. There's no man that will complete you or make you feel whole. And I think I'm talking to the 19-year-olds, because I wish someone told me this at 19. It's so much of a responsibility, but men also have their times. Men get depressed. Men have a lot of pressure. They get sad.
No one ever tends to them.
They also deal with insecurities.
Yes,
they also have self-esteem issues. So to expect this one person to do all of those things,
it's a lot.
It's too much. Yeah.
then you have to be in a relationship. That's a misconception. Like when someone asks me, am I dating? And I'm like, no, the first thing they're like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, no, it doesn't mean like, or like the other question was asked is who hurt you? I'm not hurt. You do not have to be in a relationship 24/7 for you to be a happy person. That's a misconception that I saw.
Yes.
Now, according to myself and the interactions that I have seen.
Yeah.
Like, if you are at that point in time, like you've mentioned, you've healed, you've worked on yourself, you know who you are, what you want, what you can't accept, and all that, you can thrive in a relationship. But there are people who just want to be by themselves. Like, it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. I think one thing now, as I'm approaching 30, I've actively given up the desire to be in a relationship because it was really taking up a lot of my mental space.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
But did you feel like you even had to pray? God,
Oh yes.
Father God, please
I actually had to
give me.
stop. Like,
Oh my God.
like actually, surprisingly, even that thing of pray for your partner, it's too much pressure.
Like this.
It's too much pressure right now. And the truth is, some of us will be in very happy relationships, some of us not so happy relationships, and then there's just some of us who will never be in a relationship.
Yeah,
like not everyone will meet, you know, a man to live with for the rest of their life. So right now, I'm actually starting to consider what if that's a possibility for me now. What other areas of myself can I focus on, so that if I'm going to go on the long haul alone, I'll still be okay and I'll be there for myself. Yeah.
So that's our discussion for today. We've spoken a lot on relationships.
A lot.
So I don't know, if feel like if someone has a question, please ask us down below in the comments.
Yes.
And is there anything, as you do the parting shot, you'd want someone to know about relationships?
About relationships, I would say first, and I know it's very, very cliche, but please find yourself, because yes, because when you find yourself, you know yourself, there's very little nonsense you will tolerate.
Exactly.
Yes.
Even nonsense from yourself.
Even nonsense from
call
yourself.
Out. Sorry, you're giving your parting shot.
So I'll have to say this. I was talking to my very beautiful cousin, and she was telling me, have you ever realized that the most demonic, hard-headed, bad girls have the best boyfriends? And then in my head, I was like, okay, well, that's sort of true. Then I thought about it because I'm a critical thinker. Are they really hard-headed? Do they really have bad hearts, or they don't tolerate nonsense?
But they, oh my God, actually?
Yeah.
Oh my God, the way people, if a woman starts asking questions, she's seen as difficult.
Yes.
If you're becoming more authoritative, you're seen as being bitchy.
Yes. So now you'll realize, if you look in your circle, the girls who don't tolerate nonsense have the best boyfriends. So that's my parting shot.
Don't tolerate nonsense.
Yeah, don't tolerate nonsense.
Yeah, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you in our next video.
Bye. Love you guys. Bye.